If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
God, what are you doing with your hair? That's what I would tell them. Like, can you figure out your hair? Don't do whatever that is. I don't know. No, serious advice. I felt very scared of my own skin, and like I didn't feel like I ever fit in or like looked cool or like. So yeah, I would just be like, I don't know. It's gonna be okay, and you will find out how to like style your hair correctly. It'll maybe just take until you're in your 30s.
I don't remember your hair being that crazy.
Oh, it was just bad.
I had some pretty bad and crazy hair back then, but
you did have some crazy hair.
Yeah.
What was your hair?
You had like the emo hair.
Oh.
You're listening to Our Space with Matt Batiste.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Our Space with Matt Batiste. Something I learned recently is that you can actually now leave reviews on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, go give the show 5 stars and review it. It's a free way to support the show. And of course, the wonderful guests that we have on each and every single week. Same goes for YouTube. Remember to subscribe as well to the Our Space Media channel. Today's episode is a little nostalgic for me, as I kind of somewhat grew up down the street from today's guest. In a recent episode, you may have heard Dana Bolin mention the name of his underrated band as Weekend Friends, and that name kind of sparked a little something in the back of my brain, and I was like, is that Sonia's band? The lead vocalist of Weekend Friends, Sonia, and I actually kind of grew up down the street from each other. They were also my first ever band interview. Sonia was in a band called the Buckethead back when we were in high school, and I interviewed them as part of a radio school project. I honestly always knew that Sonia was going to be, out of everybody that we kind of went to high school with, the one that actually goes and makes a career and pursues music. And so years later, when I saw that Sonia moved to Portland, started a band called Weekend Friends, I knew that was going to be something special. So it's really cool to sit here and talk to Sonia and Annie about their project, Weekend Friends, that they've been doing for quite some time now. And it all started with a move to Portland. Welcome, Sonia. Welcome, Annie. So why don't you tell me, it's been 15 years really since we've talked. So it's super cool to catch up. And moving to Portland, what made you choose Portland to pursue music?
Well, thanks for having us. And like a blast from the past, and very excited to chat. Yeah, with Portland, it was kind of off my radar completely. Like, I don't think up until I knew about Portland, Maine, I even knew Portland, Maine existed. I knew Portland, Oregon existed, very far away from here. And I had started making music with someone who lived out here, just like through the internet. And I started touring out this way. Like, it was just a lot easier to come down into the States to tour. Things were just closer together. And I found that I really loved Maine, and I liked Portland, and just New England in general. Like, Boston quickly kind of adopted my old band as like a hometown band, even though I didn't live there at all. And we started getting pretty good opportunities out here. And I just decided one summer I was going to spend time out here making a new record with my old band and trying that out. And just, because it's a really pretty place to spend a summer. It's like on the ocean, and it's quaint and quiet and like great. And so that summer turned into months. Those months turned into years. Fast forward, I met Annie. We started a band together, which is this band. We got married. Now we own a house, and we just stuck in Portland, Maine. Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So how did you two find each other? Was it through music? Was it through being out in Portland, Maine? Or
yeah,
it was through music, because I was living in Boston at the time, and just as shows schedule, you run into other bands just playing shows, and Fox Tiger and my old band would end up on bills together. And I just thought Sonia was the coolest.
Yeah. And I thought Annie was great at bass.
I still think you're the coolest.
Oh, geez. Well, and I was like starting this, like, I guess, side project thing, or just like writing songs that I didn't really feel fit for like that old project. And I was like, I want to start working with like really cool musicians. And I definitely thought you were going to say no when I asked you to play bass.
Why?
I don't know. Cause you're like really good at music. And so I was like, hey, do you want to play bass for like, I have these like phone demos of just these like scrappy, like 1.5 minute songs. And you were like, hell yeah. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. So kind of just through the music scene in Boston and New England, we kind of just found each other.
Did moving to Maine make things easier for making music and touring, and how exactly, if so?
Like affordability wise, yeah. Like compared to Toronto, like, or, we grew up in the outskirts of Toronto. Well, not Annie,
compared to Boston too.
Yeah.
At least at the time.
Yeah. It was like cheaper to live out here. And that's why I was like, oh, we'll spend the summer. Like I had this just like cheap rental, like a month to month with my friends, like in this apartment with like 4 dudes. And I was in this tiny little room for like $200 a month. And it was just like meant to be like, I'm just going to come out here to be creative and write. Like I didn't really think I was going to like, I knew I wanted to leave Toronto, but I didn't know like I was going to like move to Maine necessarily. And then it just like, for that reason, became easy to stay out here. It was like, you could go and tour and you didn't have to like make a ton of money to also like sustain paying like a massive rent. Right. So it was a great little hub for like creatives and artists. And unfortunately that's starting to change as, people caught wind of that and things are getting more expensive. But yeah, like back in 2014, when I moved out here, it was certainly a mecca for like artists and creatives to just come and plant roots and do cool stuff. So
that's cool. It's really cool. You got out of the GTA, which I think there's a lot of people that are here that do want to move out of, with how expensive things are, as you've mentioned. But that's
I like love it for other reasons. Like obviously all my family's still back there, so like I still go back and like visit and see the fam and go back to Vaughan. And hang out with them and hang out in Toronto. It's a great city. But yeah, the slower pace of like Portland or like a smaller town was like right for me. And I like being on the ocean. I like the water.
And we tour so much. It's a nice place to come home to.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
I was going to say, does it help with, because something that I've heard from a lot of artists that I've talked to is that Canada's very hard to tour because it's a lot of open space, with not many stops in between. Whereas, if you're in a place like, let's say Boston, there's so many different other cities that you can sort of hit and route and within an hour or two. Whereas Canada's not really like that, right? So does that make it at all easier?
Yeah, like 100%. And it's like, I feel like New England and the Northeast is probably the easiest area to kind of plant roots as far as touring goes as a band because of how condensed everything is. And there's just so many cities like here, like Portland is very much like a C market. It's like a small market, but we get so many great bands and so many great artists touring through here because of how close everything is. It makes it easy to just tack on that 2-hour drive to come up to Portland and play shows up here for national touring acts. Canada is probably like the exact opposite. And then as you get out west in the United States also, it gets like much more spread apart and harder to just tour that easily. But I remember like living out in Ontario and Toronto, and like you would do a tour and the tour would be like all these college towns in Ontario. And then like maybe you'd go to Montreal, and that was like all you could really afford at like a smaller level. And then anything outside of that was just like, well, you'd have to drive like 10 hours between cities. But I would love to tour Canada more. Like that, we still have never played like Vancouver. We've really never played anything out west in Canada. And I'd really like to get out there.
Is the move there and being from, here something where when you do plan those tours that you're like, all right, we do need to make that Toronto stop because we do got to see the family. And also kind of, I know a lot of bands don't necessarily like coming up across the border because dealing with merch and border crossing and all of that. But, it's where you grew up. So it's like, all right, we actually have to hit the Toronto stop
and like we love playing Toronto because like we have like a great little following in Toronto. Like it's honestly at the upcoming tour we're playing at the Sound Garage. It's like the second date of the tour. It's like I think we're playing there October 18th or something, and it has probably like one of the higher ticket sales of like all of the tour so far. And it was like right away, like tickets started moving really quickly out there. So I was like, it always just like people want it. And unfortunately, yeah, like with border crossing at this point, it is a little bit tumultuous. And like, I personally, like as a green card holder in the United States, not like a citizen here, crossing the border lately has felt even more daunting. And I haven't crossed since things,
Since everything.
yeah, since things have escalated recently. So we'll see. Hopefully they let us through, and they.
You usually have it easy. Like there was one tour where everybody in the party, we were 2 bands, had to go inside, but they were like, "You can chill."
I just chilled in my car and like drank my coffee, and like they all had to go inside. Going over to Canada, yeah, because they're like, "Oh, you're Canadian, so you're just gonna chill," and it was great. Going back the other way, we never really have too much trouble. So like, knock on wood, like no one ever gives a heck. But we also don't give people reasons to give us trouble. Like we're just trying to play music, man.
Yeah, that's good. And you've been doing Weekend Friends for a long time now. Of course, there's a lot of different experimenting, and both of you were in different bands before. What was it about Weekend Friends that actually stuck and you were like, hey, let's do this as the full-time thing?
Chemistry.
Yeah. I mean, it's good chemistry. I mean, the two of us obviously have like a really nice like workflow. Annie is an incredible audio engineer. And like, so that was like, I gotta keep that on lock. That shit's expensive. Being studios aren't cheap. So I was like, wow, she wants to record my music for free. Hell yeah. No, but it was just like it was a really good connection right away between the two of us.
The songs are good. Like people connected to the songs. It was obvious. We're like, oh,
yeah, it was fun.
This shouldn't be the side project. This should be the main project. It was pretty obvious to me right out the gate.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where that clicked? You said right out the gate, but was there something where, recording the first song or playing the first show where you were like, no, this is the main thing?
I'm sure because we started dating shortly thereafter. So the honeymoon phase of that didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think both of our other projects were kind of waning. They were in their last days anyway.
Yeah. And then it was like, I remember like we started this project and like right away we started getting like pretty cool show offers, like just locally.
Yeah. And then like agents started calling us, and none of my bands in the past ever had the kind of attention we kind of had right away.
It kind of moved like quick. So we were like, oh, okay. Well, it was like hard to keep it just like a side thing or like a casual thing because there was like all this cool stuff happening. And we're like, hell yeah. And now it's just easy. It's just like our thing. It's just what we do.
I wouldn't call it easy.
Not easy. Yeah, I mean.
That's a stretch.
But
it's what we love to do.
It's what we do.
I think one of the cool things about Weekend Friends is I don't necessarily know what category or box to put them into, and I think that's the best type of music, right? So it's like the people that carve out their own lane are usually end up being some of the best bands or anything really, like even movie genres or whatever. But if you were to have to describe your sound to someone that's never heard you before, how would you describe it?
It's like roughly, like I totally agree. Like we're not quite like pop punk. We're not quite indie rock. We're not quite like alternative rock. We're like a little bit of all of those things. And like, I just always feel like I've been a sponge to like everything I listen to. Like, and we're a little bit pop. Like I love like the vocals are very poppy. And so I've always like described it as like if Nirvana had like a pop singer and then like you fast forwarded like 10 years to when like production got cleaner or something. Like I don't really know. It's like hard. Fair. I guess that's something like that's how I describe it to like a hairdresser because I'm like, oh, they'll know that band.
It's kind of like grunge pop, maybe. Yeah,
grunge pop.
Yeah, because we got the big grungy guitars like everywhere.
But it's hard. I don't know. I just
we get a little swimmy.
I also just like blanket it as like alternative rock. Because like that's just like
see, we can't even decide.
Yeah, we don't even know. People are like, how would you describe your band? I'm like, I don't know, man. Just listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's funny that you mentioned Nirvana in there because when I was listening to the record earlier, I think it was Smoke and Mirrors where I was like, oh, this sounds like a Nirvana song. Like I hear the Nirvana influence that's in there with that one. Yeah. So, and obviously, growing up, Nirvana was my favorite band. So I heard that right away and I was like, hell yeah, I love this song.
Yeah, we love that one.
let's talk about the new record. Comes out October 10th. What does this album mean for you as your third studio album?
It's a big one. I think the third album is like really important because like you have your first record, it's like your like baby, and then the second record's like a lot of growing pains, or at least it was for us. It's like you learn how to like, I don't know, you're kind of confused,
like stretching your comfort zone a little
and
bit.
I feel like
trying to figure out who am I.
And this one was just like comfortable to make. We felt like solid in the writing we wrote together, and just like the production. I feel like you hit a stride in the studio, and it was, I don't want to say effortless because everything like takes work. And I had like a pretty sustained period of writer's block leading up to like creating this record. So I think that was really challenging. But like once the like creative like floodgates kind of opened, so to speak, it was just like this like effortless outpour of like songs, and they kind of just came together really quick. And we were like really excited about them.
We were just riding a creative wave. And if something wasn't working, we're like, okay, cool, scrap it. Like, what's next?
There was never like a really like big sticking point, which was great because I feel like with Quitter, our record right before this one, there was like a lot of sticking points, and it was just
a slog.
It was like kind of a slog to like get done. Like, yeah, so we're really excited. I don't know. It's a cool record, I think. Hopefully people like it.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say that a lot of your work actually touches on burnout and self-doubt and all that. And I was going to ask you, how do you fight through that to actually write these new songs?
You have 3 years of writer's block where you doubt yourself every minute of it, and you just think maybe I should quit music and like go grow potatoes somewhere. There's that period. And then once you're like, this is probably the only thing I can do, you're just like, all right, let's dive in and give it our all. So yeah, but I don't know, like, I feel like the burnout is like, I write about it to like get through it. Like it is the catharsis, is like that does come up as a theme in a lot of the songs, and like burnout, or like, you know, hopelessness, or just like self-deprecation, and all of those like crunchy kind of bad feelings. Getting to like just scream about them over loud guitars, I guess, is a way to like keep pushing through, whether it's like the music I make or the music I like listen to. So emotionally, that's kind of the therapy is the music. And so it's helpful because it makes me a lot less like grouchy in real life. I'm like actually kind of like happy and hopeful.
The answer is the music. I find myself slipping into self-doubt if I start thinking like, oh, what's the label going to want? What's the audience want to hear? That's where I'll start doubting my decision making. But if you just leave it up to the song, you're like, that voice can go away. It's like just like if you're a satellite dish and you're just focusing on this one song, you're like, what does it want?
Yeah.
What is it missing still, like frequency wise, feeling wise, like mood?
You just let it happen.
Yeah. Just what does the song want? It doesn't matter what the label wants. It doesn't matter what the it ultimately matters what the audience wants. But like if you want to stay creative, at least for me, that's the mindset I have to keep myself in.
Yeah, I think that's a great mindset. I mean, focus on the actual song and work itself rather than the expectations, and kind of let the expectations flow afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of working on some songs, though, Buckethead, Guns N' Roses is on the record. How did that happen?
So I met him. I work at the State Theater here in Portland, Maine, which is like a 2,000 cap venue. I sometimes house manage, and he came through, and I was working, and we just kind of sparked up a conversation. He was asking me about like what's cool to do in Portland, like, you know, where should we go on our day off? Like about comic book stores, or just like places to like check out, arcades and stuff to check out. And we got chatting, and I don't know, like just kind of struck up a little friendship, and exchanged numbers and just texted. He would like send me like demos, like so many recordings. Like I don't know if you know, but he has like hundreds of, at this point, records. I feel like he just
very prolific,
like constantly creating, and such a creative energy. So yeah, he like started sending me demos and stuff like that. And then when I wrote NPC, is a song about like, you know, being in a computer simulation, so to speak. And I wanted a guitar solo that sounded like the fabric of reality in that simulation just started like to rip apart and like pixelate and like glitch out. And I wanted the guitar to sound like that. And frankly, like I don't move my hands that fast. So I was like, I wonder if, and like, it seemed like he would be down. Like he was so down to like just send music to me that I was like, do you want to play a guitar solo? And he was like, hell yeah. And jumped right on board and yeah, sent us over the track. And we were like, this works perfectly.
It's insane.
Yeah. He hit the nail on the head. Like it was perfect. So yeah.
How do you plan on incorporating that solo into live?
I'm playing a different solo.
Writing a different solo.
Yeah, I have a completely different solo that like would have been, if he would have said no, like would have just been the solo, which I still think it's good.
It's good.
I think it's very mean.
Catchy.
It's like
It's
kind of, it's the classic like indie rock lead singer solo where it's like pretty much the vocal melody, but with like
some sass,
some like nuances. Yeah.
Okay. So that's looking forward to hearing that. Do you have a separate version of that song with that solo, or is that just like a little surprise for?
We kind of do. We just released like we went back to into the studio and did a few live sessions, and we released like a video, like we're doing YouTube video versions of that, and so I think that solo it's out there. So, but I don't think we'll release it. Like,
yeah, we probably won't release it. I'll just see for the live crowd to be disappointed by. I'm kidding. It's good. I'm kidding. It's good.
It's whatever.
It is good.
I would have had to start practicing like, I don't know, 20 years ago to play the solo he plays. Like, and I cannot.
So you feel tour with you guys?
Yeah, just come on tour.
Come on tour.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to ending the record with Natalie Imbruglia's Torn?
So everybody keeps asking that, and now I'm realizing, like, wow, that was like an interesting move to put it there. In my mind, it played out as if it was like a bonus track. I was like, okay, the record ends at Great Expectations, and then like we just tack on the cover because that was like released kind of on its own ahead of the record, sort of a little bit untethered from the record. But I wanted to put it on there just because there was a good response to it. And so, yeah, I just got tacked on the end because frankly, like didn't really fit anywhere else. And I was like, it'll be like a bonus track. And now everybody's like, wow, you ended your record with that. I was like, well, sort of. It's like a bonus track.
We probably should have labeled it.
Like,
titled it Bonus Torn.
Yeah. Or just done the thing where on a CD, remember when CDs, like way back when, would have the hidden track?
Yeah.
Like they would just like the last track would play and there'd be like space and space and space. And then all of a sudden, like a song would start playing.
Great Expectations is actually a 10-minute song, but it's like 3, 4, 5 minutes of just dead space.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then Torn. Yeah, exactly. The hidden track. Yeah,
I know that.
Tracks anymore.
Yeah, we don't really have that anymore. And also, I feel like most people would get really annoyed if you did that, considering if you wanted to get to the next track, you can't just skip it.
Yeah, people's attention span is like too short today. Like we can't have stuff like that. But I remember specifically have this memory of being like probably like 11 or something years old. And that first record by the band They Used or something, I think it was that record, had a hidden track. And I was listening to it on like my CD player in my room, and I did not know that was on there. So I like let the record finish, was just kind of like doing my homework or like doing something. And I think it starts with like him like laughing or like a sound. And it like scared the shit out of me. I was like, there is a man in my room. Like I was like so terrified. I did not like.
You ran outside. You ran down the street past Matt's house.
Yeah, I was running outside. But I was like terrified.
Where the fuck is Sonia going?
Yeah, it freaked me the hell out. But then the music started playing, and I was like, oh, it's like a hidden track. That's cool. So it's my memory of a hidden track.
Yeah, my first memory of the hidden track was Something in the Way with Nirvana, but then the used one surprised me too. Let's talk about this tour, because it's starting in a few days as of this recording, basically. You're partnering with the Ally Coalition to make your shows a safe space for everyone. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah. So yeah, tour. We're going out to Chicago for Riot Fest and playing some of the things out there. And then there's like a couple weeks between when the tour starts, like beginning of October, right after the record comes out. Ally Coalition, yeah, they reached out and they obviously do amazing work. I've been following them for a while. So essentially just like teaming up with LGBTQA like groups in every single city, or like foundations or nonprofits. And they're going to be tabling at every show. kind of alongside the merch with just information, ways you can donate, resources. And that's just like really important to us. Like, I mean, it's interesting, like bringing people to culminate a show on tour and like bring people into a room and into a community. And I feel like we already send the message of like, obviously this is a safe space, but just kind of going the extra mile to like also be like, once this show is over, here's a way to find other safe spaces or places or resources in your community that exist and that you can support or be part of or that are here for you. And yeah, so really excited to have them be part of the tour and to work with them. And some of the organizations that they've gotten in each town have like are awesome. We're probably gonna probably share like obviously as we get closer. But they sent us a list, and I'm just really excited to have that be part of the shows.
Is there something that you think everyone could be doing better at shows to make them a more inclusive and safe space for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, like at our shows, it always just feels good.
Yeah, we have like
a nice audience,
community.
And it's interesting because like when we'll tour with certain bands, like we've toured a lot with our friends in this band Sloth Rust. Annie plays bass with them live, and that was awesome because it was such a great vibe in the crowd. Like really good response, like really good respectful, and like all the different kinds of people just like being who they are and welcoming that. And I mean, I think like the biggest thing is just like, I think everybody just being kind. And like, I think when you're a band, if you are vocal about the things that matter to you and you are supporting those things, it'll only like draw in more like respect in your audience and just like little things like that. But like, I don't know, like what more can I mean, that's I guess people could be doing what we're doing with the Ally Coalition, or just finding cool, I mean, especially bigger bands where it's like you make a lot of money and you have like a huge platform. I can't imagine getting to that point and like not wanting to team up with something that matters to me outside, or like some sort of like charity or thing that matters to me outside of just the music, because it's such an easy way to just like get that information.
But at a
to people.
basic human level, I think everybody just operates with more kindness and
just
acceptance.
Be nice. Just be chill.
Everything would be so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's not a bad message to use any platform for.
Yeah. Just be nice.
Just be nice. You know, it's not that hard, but apparently it is.
Yeah. For real.
What song from this new record are you most excited to play live? And I want to hear from both of you.
Well, we've already been playing this song live, my favorite song on the record in general, and it's been my favorite to play live the last few months, has been this song called Queen of Town. I just like the slow build. I like that it like kind of catches you off guard when it finally does pick up. So that's been really exciting, and I'm really excited to play it now that if once the record's out and people have the recording and have time to like connect to it. And then generally like songs that we haven't been playing, I'm excited to play Smoke and Mirrors live because I feel like it's really loud and intense. I feel good.
Yeah, Smoke and Mirrors is my off the cuff, like this song fucks, let's go answer. But I am actually excited to the point where if I think about it, I get a little adrenaline rush going. I'm excited to play this song called Great Expectations. Similarly to Queen of Town, it has like a big explosive ending, but it's also very challenging in the bass department. So yeah. I love a challenge. Yeah. So I'm like equal parts nervous to play it live and just psyched to throw
We should probably rehearse it.
I know. We haven't even practiced it. You guys keep putting it off. You're nervous about it too. Don't lie. I'm ready. I'm like, let's do it.
I gotta remember what the hell I played.
Now, I don't know how many festivals you've played in the past, but you're playing a couple of big festivals now coming up, Riot Fest and even the Fest as well. Tell me a little bit about that. How exciting is that, or nerve-wracking is that to be playing, you know, these bigger stacked festivals?
I never get nervous over the big ones. Like the big shows with the big audiences, I feel like I can kick into a higher gear of like confidence and abilities. And
it's almost just like easier.
I like don't get nervous for those. It's weird.
And like the stages are nice and there's like a huge crew and like all the audio is like dialed in. So you're like, oh, because at this point I am like not nervous to play music. I am the most comfortable in my own skin when I'm on stage. Where I get nervous is like the shows where you're like, the tickets didn't sell that well here.
Same.
Like, oh, this venue is kind of like rough. Like, you know, like, I don't know, is it going to sound good? Like, so the big festivals, I'm just stoked to be there. And like, I just still do like have that little bit of nervous energy because we're like one of the smaller names on the festival. I'm like, I hope people show up for our set. But if there's like a huge crowd there and it's like a nice big stage and like everything's like dialed and professional, it's like, that's where it's like, you just get to go do your thing. And it feels like you can just shut your brain off to like any anxiety and just like be in the shit with the music. And so I hope we get to play more of them. Like festivals can come with a little bit of anxiety, like as far as like, I feel like
you don't get a sound check. You can just throw and go.
They're like really quick, like, you know, like that kind of thing.
Time.
But I don't know, like once we're on stage, I'm just like, all right, hell yeah, let's go.
Amazing. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
God, what are you doing with your hair? That's what I would tell them. Like, can you figure out your hair? Like, don't do whatever that is. I don't know. No, serious advice. Here, you might want to go first.
I think I would tell my younger self, don't chicken out because you don't think you're going to be able to deliver, or like if you, for self-doubt reasons, just if you're asked to do something, especially if it has to do with your passion in life, just do it. You're going to grow from it, whether you don't live up to like what you hope you would achieve in that moment, you're walk away with some valuable experience and knowledge. It's being scared and still persevering through a situation is just, it's like plant food. You're just going to grow like crazy. So just when the opportunities come along, or even
shoot your shot.
Yeah. Shoot your shot and try to make more opportunities. Don't chicken out so much.
I would almost have the opposite of like, maybe don't be so impatient. I think when I was younger, I definitely would want to just like dive in and like, I wanted to be like at the highest level of something immediately. And so I lacked the patience to like sit with like learning the skill set to get me to the point where I actually could be at that level. Do you know what I mean?
See, but I would argue against you because like,
because you were the opposite.
Yeah. If you play with people that are better than you, you are going to get better. You might as well put yourself in the situation.
Right.
And you will figure it.
Maybe that's what worked for me, I guess.
I think you did a good job.
I was just unafraid, diving in. I don't know, younger self, just like, I don't know.
You can be impatient. I will stand with you
be
there.
a little more patient. I don't know, like it all works out, I guess. I would tell myself, like, I guess. I was like a very like torn child. I felt like very like
bonus track.
Unscared in my I felt very scared in my own skin, and like I didn't feel like I ever fit in or like looked cool or like any of that stuff, and it would give me a lot of anxiety. I was like a weirdo, and so yeah, I would just be like, I don't know, it's gonna be okay, and you will find out how to like style your hair correctly. It'll maybe just take until you're in your 30s.
I don't remember your hair being that crazy.
It was just bad.
I had some pretty bad and crazy hair back then, but
you did have some crazy hair.
Yeah.
What was your hair?
You had like the emo hair.
Originally I had hair like down to here, and I had like the red big like skunk stripe in front.
Okay.
I changed that color every single month. It was like green, it was blue, it was
hell yeah.
It was really bad. So if that makes you feel any better, I'm like, I don't remember your hair being bad.
Mine was just like big, and like I didn't know how, like I would try to like straighten it and make it smaller, and now I'm just like, oh, it's just cut it a little shorter and like let your curls just exist, and it's a lot easier to be human. But I think the straightening the hair thing was just like part of our generation of growing up. Like everybody
that was definitely a part of like being emo.
Yeah, pancake flat hair. I remember I went to like a Taste of Chaos with friends, like I think the first one ever in whatever. And I remember I did have like kind of big, like curly, like moosey curly hair, and like getting made fun of in the line for my hair.
Oh, really?
I didn't have like straight, like emo girl hair. I never had emo girl. I might have too much hair. I had like the bangs, like the blunt bangs. I wish I had a photo of my like graduation picture ready, but I had like the really like blunt bangs and like just like brunette blunt and tried to straighten it kind of thing.
Back in the 2000s, it was a curly and wavy hair person problem, because I have wavy hair too, and you saw those old pictures and whatnot too. Like, and I would straighten that as well, and it was like everybody needed the straight hair back then. It didn't fit unless you were like Claudio from Coheed. It did not work.
Yeah. No one. We weren't allowed to have like waves and curls. It was a tragedy, and now it's like in, and I'm like, hell yeah, finally I could just do my thing. People ask me. Well, the weird thing is I'm not even kidding. This is like not an exaggeration. I don't think my hair is like that great, but I get asked almost every other night on tour.
Pretty much every night. Like,
and it'll happen, and someone will come up like, "What do you do for your hair?" We're like, "Oh my God, I love your hair. Like, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I'm just Italian. I just wake up. This is what goes on." As I could go into it, but there's very minimal things I do anymore, which is great. I used to do so much to like try to hide this. Like
I used to get bullied for this, and now the natural Italian waves work out.
Exactly.
It's your time to
let
shine.
it out. I know.
You too, shining so bright. 2025. I love it.
Yeah. But also like bring back the emo hair with a different color stripe.
Yeah. That will never happen. I think my wife would kill me if I did.
For like Halloween or something.
Yeah, I've got a wig. That I use in some social media videos, and it's like, it's like a goth wig from Spirit of Halloween that I just wear backwards and like style to the side, and I'm like, this works. This is as close as it's gonna get.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
We wrap every episode on the show, and this is how you were originally mentioned through Dana, by trying to grow the scene, giving a shout out to underrated or up and coming bands that are working hard like you to get your name out there. So who do you think that fans of Weekend Friends should also check out?
Well, I'm going to shout out the two bands that we're taking on tour with us this fall. So the first band is Rodeo Boys. They're also on Don Giovanni Records. They're awesome. I'm very excited to finally get to play some shows with them. And then the other band is this awesome band from New England called Nova One. And like Roz, their singer, has been making music in New England out of Providence for so long. And just, I feel like very slept on and underrated, like really cool artists. So yeah, those two bands. So check out Rodeo Boys and check out Nova One.
So when we're not on tour, I work at a studio down in Boston, and we've been making a record with this band from Connecticut called Pretty Graves. They are so good. Chris, the singer, he's got like an Elliott Smith meets Spoon meets Radiohead voice, and his songs are just, they're so good. So I'm really excited for that record to come out, and anybody in the New England area should have them on the radar. The Pretty Graves.
And I'm going to ask your cat the same thing.
Yes. What do you like? He's like absolute silence.
He's like, whoever wrote the Meow Mix jingle, please.
Yeah, that Meow Mix jingle.
Like, no, they're not supposed to eat that crap, but they love it.
They do love it. It's like junk food for kitties.
Oh, he's drooling just hearing us talk about it. Look at that. Look at that. Can the camera see the drool?
Yes.
Ugh.
Some Weekend Friends cover of the Meow Mix commercial. That's what we need to get. That's coming up next.
Yeah, we'll end our next record with that one.
Bonus track.
The bonus track.
Sonia, Annie, thank you so much for taking the time to join the show today. For those of you watching or listening, please remember, of course, subscribe and rate and review the show. And of course, go and pre-save their upcoming record on October 10th, Weekend Friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
This was awesome.
Thanks for the throwbacks to those Vaughn days.
Bring back the hair.
Yeah, bring back the hair.
Thank you for listening to Our Space with Matt Batiste. If you enjoyed yourself, please support the show by subscribing and leaving a review.